Chloe, you're canceled for that one. I was originally siding with you, Chloe, because you agreed with me that biological sex was composed of multiple factors. But then you said I'm Harry Potter cosplaying, and now we have an all-star cast attacking your queen, Nominal.Naomi, posted on Ariel Scarcella's YouTube channel. It's her, Chloe, and Buck Angel, just 3 transphobic friends chilling, hanging out, and they're reacting to my libs of TikTok. Let's see how Bucko attacks the queen herself.
Trans people change their biological sex?
Oh, that's Nominal.Naomi from Nominal.Naomi.
Let's talk about the science of trans biology. Clinicians and biologists understand sex as a composite variable, one that has many attributes, including chromosomes, reproduction, hormones, and anatomy.
They're always trying to denounce biology as if...
So right at the bat, Buck says that I'm trying to denounce biology when I just said that scientists recognize biological sex as composed of multiple factors. That's literally me saying biology is real and it has multiple attributes. So I don't know how that's denouncing biology in any way. For those that don't know the all-star cast here, we have Buck Angel on the right, who is a transgender man, and also he has an interesting history because Buck Angel used to be like a trans porn star, and like he actually did a lot of really good activist work normalizing the existence of trans bodies in porn, for example, and also other kind of like trans advocacy. But nowadays he really sides with like the detransitioners and is on like the big anti-trans grip, which is really sad to see. Ariel Scarcella in the middle is a transphobic lesbian. She's been on like Jubilee before. She got her early start on YouTube just making like essentially softcore porn. Lesbian talks about sex. Ow! Like that kind of content. It wasn't very good content, but people clicked on it because it was basically like softcore porn on YouTube. Then she came out as like transphobic and a right-winger, and she's been on the right-wing grift ever since. Chloe on the left, she's a detransitioner who decided to make her mistake into a career trying to take away trans healthcare for people who are actually trans. It's okay if you made a mistake, Chloe, but like, don't try to take away my freedom. I'm not trying to take away Chloe's freedom in any way if she wants to detransition. If she even has specific medical needs because of her detransition, I think that she should be able to access those and be able to see the doctors that she needs. I just hope that she would extend that same level of freedom to me. So that's our all-star crew. Bucko thinks I'm denying biology when I just said biology's real.
If it's like the end-all be-all of it. Biology is the reason you're trans. Do I have to keep repeating that to the world?
I don't.
What does that mean, that biology is the reason that you're trans? Is he trying to say that you're trans because you want to change aspects of your biology? Because one of the points in the video is that by taking HRT, you do change certain aspects of your biology. Not all of them, but certain aspects of your biology. Yeah, I just don't even get the point. Is it like trans people want to change their biology? Yeah. I mean, so do cis people want to change aspects of their biology, just in terms of like different aspects usually. Like when cis men get hair transplants, they want to change their biology. When cis women get the exact same types of facial feminization surgery that trans women often get, they're changing their biology. They're changing the actual cellular structure of their face.
You do not transition unless you understand biology.
Yeah, I'm explaining biology in the video, so what's the problem?
Done. That's it. These
It's
people
not.
are nuts.
So there's more.
Why am I nuts? I just said that biology is composed, like biological sex is composed of multiple factors. And Buck Angel's already calling me nuts. What did I do? What did I do?
Multiple factors that go into determining a person's sex.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Why is... Wait, okay. Naomi says there are multiple factors that go into determining your sex. And Buck Angel's like, this person's nuts. Chloe says there's multiple factors that go into determining your sex. And Buck Angel's like, yep, that's it right there. Make it make sense.
But if a person doesn't have like a full set of those, of one factor of those factors of one sex or the other, that doesn't mean that
They're a different sex.
Exactly.
Typically, we would call a person intersex if they have like a mixed collection of biological sex characteristics. That can be different than like their gender, which they move through the world as, or their gender identity. But in terms of their biological sex, if they don't align fully on one side or the other, yeah, we would typically call that person intersex, or maybe transsexual if they induce those changes medically.
A third sex.
It means that they're either male or female, but they just
That's
have
right.
a condition.
That's right.
You could just use the term intersex, but that doesn't really have anything to do with what I said in the video so far.
That's exactly right. And you know, some women can have a higher rate of testosterone. Some men can have a higher
I think
rate of
lesbians.
estrogen.
I think that's why people are
I
lesbians.
agree. I totally agree with that. This person is just doing rhetoric.
This person's just doing rhetoric. Oh my gosh. Imagine your rhetoric queen spreading rhetoric by saying that biology is composed of multiple factors, which is something that Chloe literally said and Buck Angel agreed with.
Biology? What are you talking about? There's
Yeah, also the whole like lesbians are lesbians because they have higher levels of testosterone. I'm pretty sure that's like bunk science from like a while ago. I think it might be like this slight correlative factor about like hormonal environments in the womb can be linked to like sexuality. Not in like a deterministic sense, but like there's this kind of like rough correlation. It's the kind of thing where it's like, you can make the conclusion that, yeah, it seems there's probably some like genetic and hormonal and other complex factors going on to what might determine somebody's sexuality, but it's not to be the case that like you inject a girl with testosterone and now she's gay. So it's not like the testosterone that's making you gay. There's like a lot of factors going on.
There's no difference. They're trying to look like a professor with the chart in the back.
Because I'm gonna be a professor. I'm a PhD student, Buck. I'm gonna be a professor. They're so mad. They're so mad. Also, the chart in the back is a poster from a video game. That's the chart in the back that they're referring to. It's a poster from the video game Outer Wilds. It's like a cool little solar... I have a hard time pointing. It's a little solar system from a fictional video game called Outer Wilds. This video is so funny.
I thought it was like a Harry Potter cosplay
Well,
or something.
I don't know, but it seems like they're trying to teach us about...
Okay, that's kind of transphobic to say that I'm a Harry Potter cosplayer, not gonna lie. Chloe, you're canceled for that one. I was originally siding with you, Chloe, because you agreed with me that biological sex was composed of multiple factors, but then you said I'm Harry Potter cosplaying, and now that crossed the line. That really crossed the line.
Trans biology. And people keep telling me...
Buck takes issue with the term trans biology. If you're a transsexual person who takes HRT to alter aspects of your biology, you have unique medical needs because of it. I have to tell my doctor that I'm a transsexual because if I was treated medically the exact same way as a cissexual male, if I was treated medically the exact same way as a cissexual female, neither of those would perfectly align with my biology. Just like how intersex people have unique biological and medical needs. Same thing's true about transsexual people. That's what I'm trying to invoke with the phrase trans biology.
Well, Buck, you've been on hormones for 30 plus years. You're now a biological man. I go...
Nobody's saying that. No, nobody's saying that it makes you identical to a cissexual male if you're on hormones for 30 years, but rather you're a transsexual male, that you've changed some of your sex characteristics and this impacts some of your medical needs.
Last time I looked, I'm still a biological female.
I never said that taking hormones is gonna change your pussy into a penis or vice versa. Like, where did they get these talking points from? I said the words biological sex is composed of multiple factors. And what Buck Angel heard is if you take testosterone for 30 years, your vagina turns into a penis. Where did he get this from? They're not listening to anything I'm saying.
So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care how many hormones you put in my body. I don't care if you dumped a whole...
It's how your body is naturally. That doesn't mean that it worked for you.
What is how your body is naturally? Are you saying that like biological sex or biology is just what you are naturally? Because there's more to biology than just the natural. I mean, you can even find this just from like the common Google definition of biology. Define biology. Biology is the study of living organisms divided into many specialized fields that cover morphology, physiology, anatomy, behavior, origin, and distribution. So hormones, morphology, that's like the shape of the structure. It changes certain structures, so it changes your morphology. Physiology, like your physical characteristics. Anatomy, things like developing breasts. Behavior, hormones are linked to behavior. Origin, don't think you're changing that one. Distribution, depends on what kind of distribution you're talking about, but like body fat distribution would be something that would be changed by hormones. Quite literally, taking HRT would change certain aspects of your biology by the common definition of biology, because this doesn't say it has to be what you're just born with naturally. I mean, like think about it like this. Cancer is a biological process, and chemotherapy induces biological changes to biologically eliminate that cancer. Biology is more than just what's natural.
Here's how I'm gonna totally blow everyone's... I'm going to get my chromosomes tested.
Okay.
I'm going to go do it.
I literally said that chromosomes are a sex characteristic. How is that a dunk? How is that a dunk? I said that chromosomes are a sex characteristic.
Really?
Yes, I am, because after 30 years of hormones, I'm gonna prove every single one of these MFers wrong. And
Does Buck think that I think that you can change your chromosomes? Because I never said that. The only thing that I said in the video so far was that sex is composed of multiple factors. That's all I said. And Buck's like, I'm gonna prove this person wrong by showing that my chromosomes I did not magically grow a Y chromosome, so take that, Naomi. Okay, but I didn't say any of that. Buck has like created this hypothetical trans person that does not exist that he's arguing against. Like, is Buck okay? Is he hearing voices? Is he saying things that aren't there? He's not even arguing against the person in the room.
It's not going to be XY?
if it is, I'm gonna be rich.
You really won't be rich. It's actually very common for intersex people to have different sex chromosomes than is expected. 1 in every 200 live births are people that have different sex chromosomes than expected. 0.5% of the population, that's millions of Americans. Most of these people that have different sex chromosomes just don't even know it because they don't get their chromosomes checked.
You were gonna be like one in a billion.
That's right.
She thinks it's 1 in a billion. She thinks there's like 7 people on planet Earth that have different sex chromosomes than what is typical. 0.5%. Let's go ahead and multiply that by 7 billion. And the actual figure is, what is that? 35 million. 35 million people with sex chromosomes that are not what you would expect. Wow, that's a lot more than the 7 that you guessed, Aria. And I'll go ahead and provide a source for that because people love their sources. What they did is they just chromosome tested all the infants that were born within a year in New Haven, and they found that 0.5% or 1 out of every 200 had unexpected sex chromosomes. It's not 1 in a billion.
Right, I actually changed my sex.
Right.
I never said that you can change your chromosomes.
Trans person undergoes hormone replacement.
Is it closer to 8 billion? It probably is. I was just doing napkin math.
Trans person undergoes hormone replacement therapy. It changes many aspects of their biological sex. HRT gives you a hormonal profile identical to that of the sex you transition to.
You have bodily
Let's hear how they debunk it. HRT changes your hormonal profile. I would certainly hope so because it's called hormone replacement therapy. I would hope that it replaces your current hormone profile with a different hormone profile. I hope they can recognize that.
changes in the way that your body looks and acts. But
Those are biological characteristics, such as the physiology, morphology, anatomy. As we saw from the definition of biology, those are biological characteristics.
at your core, if you stop taking those medications, your body will revert to its natural state.
I don't dispute that. That doesn't mean that it didn't change your biology. It just means that it's something that you have to continuously keep up in order to maintain those changes. Just like how you have to keep on taking chemo in order to kill the cancer cells until like all those cancer cells are gone. Yeah, you're gonna need to keep on taking HRT until you get rid of your gonads, for example, if you want to keep permanent changes of HRT. Why is that so hard to understand?
Right.
That's the difference.
Yep.
It's that simple.
That's simple.
So you're not changing. You're not changing it. You are.
You literally are changing it, though. What does she think that change means? If something is not a real change, if your argument is that you're not changing what you naturally were, you're changing into something else, then it's impossible to change at all, right? Because like every change is going to go from what you naturally were to something else. Like it's impossible to change anything under that logical framework.
You're tricking your body.
You're basically. Yeah.
So, like, say a woman has, like, naturally high
Okay, so the idea that like you're tricking your body. I mean, trick is a bit of a loaded term, but effectively what HRT does is your body sees that your cells are going to see, okay, I've got estrogen. My DNA says if I have estrogen, go ahead and produce these outputs. For example, grow boobs, soft skin, grow more hair on the head, grow less hair on the body. If you want to call that tricking, whatever, it's real.
testosterone because of like a condition like PCOS or something, and she grows like a bunch of body hair, grows like really thick beard and facial hair, and starts getting like male pattern baldness and growing muscle. Does that make her a man?
No.
Okay, so the question is, if somebody has PCOS, are they now a man? No, but PCOS is oftentimes viewed as an intersex condition. It does change certain sex characteristics. For example, like having higher levels of testosterone is going to alter certain aspects of your biology. Yeah, they're like, it can make you intersex. That doesn't change every aspect of your biological sex. And also it doesn't change your gender identity. It doesn't change your gender expression. It changes certain aspects of your biological sex. Often even considered, the PCOS can be considered an intersex condition.
I'm not a man. I'm a transsexual man, right?
That's the entire point of the video. By taking HRT, biologically, you become transsexual, which gives you mixed sex characteristics. That's Naomi's point the entire time.
So I present as a man, right? I want to be a man. I walk the world looking like a man, but I am not a biological man. I am actually a biological female.
Sex
so
is
you're right.
immutable.
Okay, so now Buck says that he's a biological female. There are certain sex characteristics of his that are still female that haven't changed, but some of his sex characteristics have changed. And if his doctor were to treat him the exact same as any other cissexual female, that would be medical malpractice because his biology is not the same as a cis female in many ways.
That's right. And why I keep telling people.
Okay, so now Chloe says that sex is an immutable trait. I guess the question is, if sex is an immutable trait, what is sex? Question, Naomi, why do you refer to yourself in the third person? Because it's funny. So if Chloe thinks that sex is an immutable trait, then I guess the question is, what is sex? Is sex defined by your chromosomes? Sure, chromosomes are immutable, but I don't think that that's all there is to sex. Is sex defined by what gametes you can produce? That's not even stable throughout a person's life. Or puberty, you can't produce gametes at all. Is sex defined by hormones? Those you can change. You know, when somebody said that sex is immutable, I think it's important to ask, what do they mean by sex? Because she's not going to specify.
People, I don't care what this transgender is telling you, the transgender community.
What this transgender is telling you. I love that I got demoted to this transgender.
I'm a biological female. I'm an ugly female, but I'm a biological female.
Induces real biological changes in your body. For trans women on HRT, we develop real breasts.
Notice
Why is that funny? Are boobs that funny? Buck Angel hears someone grows boobs. So funny.
how they use all these big words.
That's
like,
right.
It actually means something.
What big words did I use? Biological breasts? Induces? I don't think I really used that big. What were the big words I used?
While dressing as a professor.
Even got the science poster on the back.
Yeah,
The science poster? It's a video game poster, but okay.
We develop breasts. Well, that's because you put a cross-sex hormone in your body. So
That's the point. The point is that taking hormones changes aspects of your biology. That's my argument, Buck.
you're going to get characteristics. These are characteristics.
You notice how like they just say that this person's so dumb and stupid, and then somebody repeats my exact argument, and they're like, This has happened multiple times now. When Chloe was like, yeah, sex is composed of multiple factors, and Buck's like, yeah. And no, Buck's like, yeah, if you take hormones, it's gonna change aspects of your body. You're gonna grow boobs. That was my point.
This is an actual costume.
Moob, not.
A costume? I mean, a costume is something that you can like take off at night, but like I can't take off these boobs. They're stuck with me.
Move, not, who says that? Is that a thing?
No, I just made it up.
You just made it up. That's gonna be a meme.
You'll get characteristics.
You get
Okay, so is she trying to say that trans women develop moobs, not like real boobs? Well, let's actually talk about it because we actually have studies which debunk that. Study on the breast tissue, which is developed in transsexual females that are taking estrogen and progesterone versus the chest tissue that is developed in cis men who have been castrated, for example. And they also compared this to cis females' breast tissue. What they found is that full acinar and lobular formulation occur with hormonally stimulated nuclei and pseudolactational changes. Hence, combined progestive antiandrogens and estrogens are necessary for genetically male breast tissue to mimic the natural histology of the female breast. Histology means like the biological structure. Transsexual females develop breasts that are structurally identical to that of cis females. This has been shown in the peer-reviewed literature.
secondary sex characteristics.
That's right.
But your body still doesn't function the same way naturally.
That's right.
That was my argument. That you take medicine and it changes certain aspects of your biology. That's literally the point.
Which is why trans is a real thing, because you can't change your sex.
That's right.
Otherwise, if you wanted to, you could just change your sex and you'd
And I wouldn't be trans.
You wouldn't be trans.
So if the argument is that if you could snap your fingers and change your sex, then trans people wouldn't exist, wouldn't you still call somebody that snaps their finger to change their sex a trans person? Like, isn't that what you still call them? Like, it'd be a whatever, like super HRT, but they're still a trans person because their gender identity is different than like the gender that they were expected to be at birth. That's still trans. What's the difference between transgender and transsexual? That's a great question. In recognizing the difference between sex and gender, where sex is biological, gender is social and cultural, we would say that a transsexual person is somebody who alters their biological sex by like taking HRT, alters certain biological sex characteristics to be more precise. And then a transgender person is somebody who identifies with a gender other than the one they were assigned at birth, and they often take steps to socially transition, to move through society being perceived and treated as a certain gender. That's why I would use a phrase like transsexual female to describe like my biological reality. I would say something like transgender woman to describe my lived social experience. That, you know, I move through society being perceived and treated as a woman, I identify as a woman, that makes me a transgender woman. But then taking HRT to change certain aspects of my biology makes me a transsexual female. That's the distinction. Great question.
Female skin texture, female body odor, female body fat distribution, female hair patterns in both body hair and head hair, female muscle mass, female bone density, and even female bone structure if we start HRT early enough.
And yeah, those are some of the sex characteristics you can change by taking HRT. Those would be like sex characteristics that for transsexuals will be more in line with the sex they transition to. Fascinating.
HRT also affects fertility, meaning that it changes the majority of your biological sex characteristics.
What is fertility?
Chloe, earlier you said that sex is composed of multiple characteristics. I would think that you would think that reproductive sex is one of those characteristics. So for example, somebody who can produce children in one direction versus somebody who can produce children in a different other direction, like sperm versus egg versus infertility. Those would be kind of like the different categories of like reproduction.
That's why they're trying to say
Like,
that.
okay, like your sperm count dropped?
That's right.
Does that mean you're a woman now?
No, that's right.
I never said that. So this is an argument about sex, not gender. Everything that I talked about in that video is about sex, not gender. I have never claimed that being able to reproduce in one direction or the other makes somebody a woman. Woman is a gender category, not a sex category.
Right, that's exactly what she is trying to say. That
Buck thinks that I'm trying to say that, wait, Buck thinks that I'm conflating sex and gender? That's completely the opposite. That video is only about biology. It's not about gender at all.
everything that you do as a transsexual person creates a biological change. She's actually saying you actually change your sex. She's a complete...
Wait, when did I say you change your sex? The claim in the video was that you change certain sex characteristics. The claim wasn't, I take HRT and now I'm a female in the same way that a cis female is. The claim is that if I take HRT, I develop some female sex characteristics. So Buck's just lying about what I'm saying.
Total liar. And that's...
Buck, you're the liar. I never made that claim. You're making the fault. Like, Buck's once again arguing against the ghost of Naomi that's not there.
It's not helping the trans community
Let me repeat
at all.
that just to see if I heard that correctly.
That doesn't help us.
HRT also affects fertility, meaning that it changes the majority of your biological sex characteristics.
See? Majority of your biological sex characteristics, not biological sex. There's a distinction between those two. Does that make sense? They don't have an argument other than misrepresenting what I said. I said it changes characteristics, which Buck has already conceded is true. That you grow breasts, it changes characteristics.
Yeah, I mean, they actually say stuff like this and expect the world to believe them and wonder why people hate trans people so
What's the lie, Buck? What's the lie? Can you say what the lie is?
much, because they're lying.
I know you're wanting to say something.
What's the lie, Buck? He can't even say what the lie is. Because there is no lie. This is just how biology works. Here's the thing. Trans people are aware that they're born with certain biological sex characteristics. The fact that they take HRT to change certain biological sex characteristics shows that we're aware of our biology and we're aware that some of it's going to change and some of it isn't. You have to understand your biology to know that taking hormones is going to change certain aspects of it.
I need to say it. Listen, no holding back now.
So if somebody's infertile, that makes them the opposite sex. See,
I never said that. I did not make that claim in that video.
like you have like
Right.
prostate cancer and like you have to
That's right.
get your prostate removed. Does that make you a woman?
I never said that being infertile changes your sex. What I did say is that fertility or reproduction is considered to be a sex characteristic. You can change that characteristic, but that doesn't change your sex. I never made that claim.
That's right.
Which is funny because that's what a lot of trans activists actually say. That it's not, well, they'll say that it's not based on your traits.
That's right.
So, but
They say that.
she's
But
saying the
it.
opposite.
What? Are they actually this dumb, or are they just lying? Because I never said that sex and gender are the same thing. I never said that changing your sex changes your gender. What I said is that hormones change certain sex characteristics. So I don't know how they jump from when Naomi says hormones change certain sex characteristics to sex and gender are the same thing to Naomi said you change every aspect of your sex to Naomi said that now you can grow a uterus and your penis inverts itself and now you're a female woman. How do we get from the thing that I actually said to 4 points removed of things that I did not say? Are they this stupid or are they just lying? I legitimately can't tell.
That's because the community doesn't agree.
They don't agree with each
They
other.
all make
And there's
shit
so
up.
much infighting.
Oh my
Right,
God,
right.
it's out of control.
Who do you think's doing the infighting, Buck? You're the one that came out of nowhere to attack me and call me a liar when you agreed with every point I actually made in the video.
I'm gonna end the video there.
They're not even gonna watch the full thing?
Awful lot.
Here's the full video.
A trans person in HRT ultimately obtains an intersex collection of biological traits that places them
Oh, look at that. I even specifically said that it's essentially giving you an intersex collection of traits. Not that it changes your sex from male to female, but it gives you an intersex collection of traits. I literally contradict Buck's misrepresentation of my argument in the next line of the video.
more in line with the sex they transition to than the sex they were assigned at birth. And it's important to classify us as such. For example, my doctor needs to know that I'm hormonally female because my risk of heart disease, bone disease, and most cancers is in line with females due to the reality of my biological sex.
Oh my gosh, everything they cut out completely destroys what they're saying. I'm saying, yeah, ultimately I have mixed sex characteristics, and it's important to biologically classify me as such because it matters when I see my doctor. And I list a couple conditions that are going to depend on your hormonal sex, not your natal sex, as far as what your medical needs are going to be. They can't even respond to what I actually say. They have to cut the video short and lie about what I say.
Trans people aren't denying or erasing biological sex.
Look at that! Even come out and say it explicitly.
We just prove that it's more complicated and changeable than we previously thought.
And you'll also notice that nowhere in the video Did I ever say the words, trans people can change their biological sex? It was always, you can change certain sex characteristics, you can essentially obtain an intersex collection of sex characteristics, and it's important to be precise in how you classify us with our mixed sex characteristics. Very much the old SJW-owned YouTube era videos where they just take somebody, insult their appearance, misrepresent what they're saying, and have a laugh. The literal next line that he couldn't respond to completely destroys his mischaracterization of me. I explicitly contradict his mischaracterization. It's not piss, it's grape juice, I promise.